Guided journals are becoming really, really popular, and we see more and more of these appear, more and more people buying guided journals. And in this video, I want to share my thoughts with you, how I see these trends moving, what I've been able to observe in the last 5 years since I started selling my own guided journals. Also, how you can make sure to benefit from this trend and create your very own guided products that match your passions, match your expertise, or your existing businesses. So let's start looking at how this trend is evolving and what we can see in general. So we see that journaling is becoming a lot more popular. It's becoming a mental health, self-care, personal growth type of tool, and it's no longer just a diary. If we talk about journaling just even 5, 10 years ago, most people would imagine someone writing in their diary, telling how the day has gone and what has happened during the day, right? We often imagine like a little girl writing in their diary. The society has changed and the way people journal has also changed. Now it's no longer just the little girls that are writing into diaries. We see all across ages and all across genders, people using journaling as a tool of emotional regulation, of personal growth, achieving goals, tracking the progress, and basically thinking on paper, using paper to think, especially in a world where overwhelm is everywhere through the digital space and through the digital world that we know, we find that things and trends can move like a pendulum. And because so much has directed us into like digital use, we see people crave physical products again, and they prefer to have something that they can use pen and paper and actually write because it's a lot less overwhelming in comparison to all the digital noise that we have out there. Also, we find that people are focusing a lot more on personal growth and on things like therapy and coaching. And while not everyone wants to hire a therapist, not everyone wants to hire a coach, there are different reasons. One, it's a lot more expensive than a guided journal. A guided journal can be a very effective and cost-effective way to work on your personal goals and your mental well-being. It's also a lot more convenient. You don't have to go somewhere. You don't have to open up to a stranger. You can really have everything in just a product that you can take with you anywhere. It gives your brain room to just decompress and have some space. So it makes sense with our fast and busy life how so many more people are craving these products. And it is showing up in the different products that are available on the market. When I first got started in 2020 with guided journals, there were so few alternatives out there. There was so little out there. Now, 5 years later, we see lots more product and the trend is growing. This is because people need help with lots of different topics. We see from gym planners to like marathon prep, nervous system regulation. We see products for focus, for productivity, for recipes, for all sorts of hobbies, personal goals, and challenges that people might have. We are also finding that through a faster paced life that we are experiencing now in comparison to maybe 30 years, 40 years, 50 years ago, is where people want to implement faster and see results faster. Reading a book can often be a lot more passive and requires discipline to implement things right away, while a guided journal gives you a lot more structure and focuses on your implementation instead of giving you knowledge. They say knowledge is power, but truly applied knowledge is power. And this is why guided products, guided journals can be so extremely powerful because they give you knowledge. So there is definitely some explanation here as well, but it focuses so much on your own implementation, your own reflection, so that you apply that knowledge right away. So let me tell you how I've been able to benefit from this trend. In 2020, I saw that there were more and more people looking for ADHD related products. I personally have ADHD, and I also wanted and needed products that better suited my needs, and I created my own ADHD planners. They were wildly successful, and many other people were able to benefit from them as well. I also created manifestation journals, reading journals, affirmation cards, habit trackers, shadow work journals. This is also one of my products. Tons of different products. What I've seen is that there is so much demand for so many products. So I ended up helping lots of my clients create their very own products. So we have from focus planners to nervous system regulation planners to even end of life planners. This gave me a very unique insight into the market, because not only was I basing my assumptions on my brands and my products, but I was now working with dozens and dozens and dozens of different brands, seeing so many different products being launched, seeing how they're performing, seeing how the demand is growing on Amazon, and how lots of these products are doing extremely well, because there is a market that really craves for that. So how can you now benefit from this trend? And where am I seeing this trend? I'm seeing the trend of a lot more experts and business personalities, mental health-based personalities, weight, business, goals, hobbies are going to create their own guided journals to guide their people through different journeys, through different transformations. We're already seeing that some of the big names, like Ramit Sethi, has his own journal. He's well known for I Teach You to Be Rich book, but he also has his guided journal where he's guiding people to their rich life. We're seeing other big personalities also creating the journal. In fact, I am working with a big business personality as well and business mentor in my space, and helping her create her own guided journal in a partnership too. So I'm seeing a lot of these personalities creating these products. Why? There are lots of smart reasons for it. One, you can use it as a funnel, similar to creating an expert book. Here you're creating a product where people are applying your knowledge already. With that, they're getting results, they're building trust with you, and there's a likelihood that they are interested in what else you have to offer, since they already have seen great results with you. So creating a funnel is one thing. Building your authority is another thing, because it puts you as the go-to person. It gives you lots of credibility and, of course, authority, similar to writing a book. Another thing that's beneficial from a customer perspective is that if it's a journal, a planner, my belief in achieving what the transformation is that you're offering me increases, because I feel like, oh, I'm having accountability. I'm following a system step by step. I'm not just reading a book and now trying to figure out what my to-dos are based on this book. Like, you're telling me what to do. This is an actual how-to, which makes it very, very powerful from a user's perspective. In comparison to a book, a guided journal is a lot more profitable, because guided journals tend to sell between $20 to like $50. And a book tends to sell between like $9 to like maximum of $20, while the manufacturing cost is very similar. So the margins that we get with a book is very different. Also, you don't need a publisher to create a guided journal. You actually don't need it even for like in your own book, but oftentimes the perceived credibility of like a self-published book is not really as high as like a really published book. When it comes to a created guided journal, like the publishing piece does not become as important. It's the material, it's the look of it, how professional it looks. And here you don't need a publisher at all, so you can keep all the profits to yourself. A guided journal business on its own, even if you don't have any other services or coaching or things that you want to offer, that on its own is lucrative enough. And that's what I have been doing. I have sold all sorts of personal development products without the need of having additional digital products that I wanted to sell. Like the guided journal business itself became an almost $4 million business over the past few years. And I didn't have to have anything in addition because they are very healthy profit margins. And that is because the perceived value of a guided journal is based on the content and not on the material and manufacturing cost. The manufacturing cost for guided journals is nowhere near what usually you will like. It's nowhere near what you would usually find in the e-commerce space where your profit margins are a lot lower. Here, our profit margins are a lot higher because we're not basing the price on our purchasing costs. We're basing the price because of the perceived value and market prices for guided journals, which tend to be higher. So where can you go from here? What I would recommend you to do is to think about what are possible topics that you find interesting. So now let's think about what you can do next. You want to be thinking about possible topics that your audience or a potential audience that you want to create products for could align with, because you don't need an audience ahead of time. I didn't have an audience ahead of time before doing this. I still don't have social media accounts for my brands, and it is not a requirement to do well. Like I've had almost $4 million worth of sales without any of that. Of course, it helps. I'm sure I could have had even more sales if I did that, but it wasn't a requirement for me to do well. You want to start by narrowing down some of the ideas you might have. Feel free to leave them in the comments. One of the future things that I'm working on is a workshop that helps you identify what ideas can sell and what will maybe not sell as much. Then from there, you want to get some inspiration. Look at some guided journals that you see. What is it that you like about them? What would you want your guided journal to look like? What would you want the guided journal to help the client achieve? And with that, how would you want it to be? These are the first bits that you want to be getting clarity on. We also have additional videos that you might want to watch. If you need any additional support, we do have a community that teaches you all the bits. I will link it down below. And also we do have a few other workshop replays and other things that you might want to have access to. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye for now.